Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We're here with a terrific gentleman who's a recording artist, composer, environmentalist on a mission to connect people to the natural world through immersive art. He also worked in documentary film production in New York City as a cinematographer, also cinematographer, editor, and also on short and feature-length films. He also embarked on a global journey of a spiritual awakening and self-discovery, realizing that music was his deeper passion and also involving the ocean. We'll talk more about that. He's also creator of Embodied Sound podcasts and also Mindful Sound Studios as well. And just mixing the arts and science to commit to marine life. A great connection as well, too. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios and somewhere in Germany, the other side of the ocean, and I'm sure it's very beautiful. The whales are singing right now, and of course, all the marine life are kind of going to pause to it right now and get to listen. Amazing recording artist, composer, environmentalist of Sounds of the Ocean, ladies and gentlemen, the multi-talented Joshua Sam Miller. Joshua, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and thanks for joining us today.
Hello, Mike. It's great to be here. Thank you for the introduction.
Well, it's great to have you on board, Joshua. So you're a recording artist, composer, environmentalist, and you're on mission to connect people to the natural world through immersive art. You worked on documentary film production in New York City as cinematographer and also editor on short and feature-length films. And you also embarked on a global journey of spiritual awakening and self-discovery. And you're also creator of Embodied Sounds, which is mindful content studio, bringing immersion as well too. And also you began a project back in 20 as well too, basically just combine the arts and sciences to connect with marine life. And you also have the Embodied Sounds podcast. Your special project, Sounds of the Ocean, has gotten rave reviews. And before getting all that, Joshua, tell us how you first got started.
Well, that's certainly a long list right there. But I'd say the initial start for me was growing up as a kid in the New York area. I'm originally from New York, and just really being curious how to have fun with a camera. I was gifted a camera on my 15th birthday.
Nice.
And that really started the creative spark, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I was making all kinds of funny movies with friends and having a band as well at the time, having some concerts at home on the weekends and just kind of jamming out, in the living room in the basement.
Nice.
I actually built a drum set once out of paint cans. That was pretty cool.
Paint cans. That is so creative. I never thought of it when I was raising kids. Paint cans making as a drum kit. I never thought of it.
I was really inspired by shows like Stomp and Blue Man Group, and basically, making music and making rhythm with anything that you could find.
Mm-hmm.
So I was quite clever in those days, and happened to have a basement full of empty paint cans. So that was, I'd say, the initial start of my creative journey. And then over the years, just fell into the right places at the right time and kept following the wave. In New York, I was invited to serve on a documentary film crew about the Camino de Santiago in 2009. And this really opened up my mind and also started my career as a cinematographer to help people see what it's like in that part of the world. And we followed 10 participants on a 500-mile pilgrimage across northern Spain for about 2 months, and really got out of the box, so to speak. At the time, I was living in New York City, and that was really kind of the start of an awakening, I'd say, that really set me on a different path. That's been very, very rewarding. So I developed an interest in traditions from Eastern cultures and other continents, especially in the Middle East as well as the Caribbean, and really got curious on the music side of things and how these civilizations and cultures had been coming together for, thousands of years, and having music, dance, and ritual kind of at the focus of community life. And being a New Yorker, quite a city guy, I found this very, very interesting because we didn't really have that so much.
Hmm. That's really interesting. And you talk about the cultures and the music and everything else. Who are some of your favorite artists and musicians and also singers and everything else growing up?
So many, my parents played a lot of great music, and I was listening to a lot of classical music as a kid, um, Beethoven, Mozart, Debussy, kind of the classic composers, of the time, contrasted with, Pink Floyd, Santana, um, the Beatles, Bruce Springsteen were some classics that my parents kind of had going, all the time, so to
Hmm.
speak, growing up in America. But I got really into this one band called The Slip when I was in high school. Have you ever heard of them?
The Slip. That sounds very interesting. Let's hear more about it.
The Slip were a trio, bass, guitar, and drums, and they would play kind of a mix of jazz, funk, rock and roll, um, jam band music, all kind of mixed together.
Wow.
And I've probably been to almost, I don't know, 100 of their shows in my life, and it was totally the band that defined that chapter. I think we all, that's the thing I love most about music, is I'm sure if you remember, any moment from life, you can kind of remember what kind of music you were listening to at that time. And for me, The Slip was where it was at. I had a very good friend um growing up, and this was kind of before you could download music super easily on the internet.
Hmm.
So he had a fast modem connection. I had a CD burner. So he would download live shows of this one band, pass them to me on a disc at school. I would then go home and make the CD and give it back to him the next day so he could listen to it on his stereo.
Oh my gosh, that's a throwback right there. I think everybody wishes they had a CD burner these days. I think I like to burn on the vinyl one day. I'm sure it's a new technology.
Totally. So, a bit random, but I thought you'd appreciate that, being an audio guy. It definitely brings me back some good times, and really those albums, those shows were the foundation, I think, of really this approach to music that I've decided to pursue, which is very improvisational. I'm not a Western trained musician, I would say. I've studied a little bit over the years, but
Hmm.
most of my approach is very improvisational, very intuitive, and pulling from more of the Eastern traditions, especially in India and parts of Central Asia, that I find just really, really work well for me.
Hmm. That's really interesting as well, too. We'll talk more about Sounds of the Ocean and also Embodied Sounds, the podcast, and how does this all play together for Joshua Sam Miller. We'll find out just 1 minute, but first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at Sonic Web Studios. Project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those who love be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews, and Eve 11 endorsed by Howard celebrities, including John Cassie, Forrest Riley, Eminems. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner also Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and more. Make sure you take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast, T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, and hoodies as well. Check it out, Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great merchandise like t-shirts, pop sockets, phone cases, and great books like Missing, Once and Wrinkles. Amazon.com/Mia Molson Zia. Check it out today and support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Make sure you do so today. We're here with amazing recording artist, composer, environmentalist Joshua Sam Miller here on the Mike Wagner Show with Sounds of the Ocean, also the owner of Embodied Sounds and the Embodied Sounds podcast. And before getting all that, you had worked as a documentary film producer in New York City, cinematographer, editor, and you worked on short and feature films. And tell us about some of the short and feature films you've done over the years.
Thanks so much, Mike. It's good to be back. And I guess the most interesting, project is probably the most recent one. And this has been so exciting for me because it's really been an opportunity to pull everything all together. The experience that I had growing up back in New York really taught me a lot on the visual side and how to put together a story through imagery.
Mm-hmm.
And the experience that I had on the West Coast living in California really taught me a lot about the audio side. And after taking about a 10-15 year break from the movie business, last year I decided to put that hat back on and wound up directing my first immersive film. And
wow.
This has been so exciting because not only these days with technology can you, watch something, but you can really feel like you're in it yourself. And so we've created through my company Embodied Sounds our first feature film for planetariums, and it's called Sounds of the Ocean. Thanks for mentioning that before. And we really are hoping that this movie makes people feel like they are in the ocean themselves. That's really the goal with it. And we've licensed some footage from very, very, very good cinematographers around the world who have devoted their life to swimming with marine mammals like whales, dolphins, time in the sea. And this has been such an exciting project to work on because I grew up as a scuba diver as well.
Oh, wow.
Actually, I didn't mention that before. And those moments underwater for me were some of the most special times that I can recall. And so this movie really tries to bring the feeling of what it's like to be diving, to be under the sea, to people who might never go there, maybe are interested to go there, but just haven't yet, or haven't even thought about it. And it's it's really an exciting step to have taken as a creative person. And I'm so excited to hear what people have to say about it.
That sounds rather exciting too. And of course, you've been scuba diving for quite some time. What are some were your most curious mammals that you saw in the sea and your encounter? And what are some of your favorite mammals in the ocean as well too? And what was your favorite especially in the sea, your favorite mammal and experience and everything else?
Oh man, there are so many wonderful mammals and underwater creatures to connect with. I would say some of the highlights, I just did a trip recently to Egypt and went into Red Sea, which still fortunately has a lot of vibrant underwater life, and had an amazing encounter with a sea turtle, actually.
Nice.
That was really cool. And she kind of swam, right up to me and was very curious and very friendly and totally harmless and totally secure, with me, and just hovered there and then swam away. And it was quite a special connection, I must say. This was a very good moment. And ironically, I have not seen many whales, but I work with a lot of whale sound in the music and the movie that I mentioned. And I feel that there's also a very special connection with a whale, but I'm yet to see one underwater. Maybe that will happen for me soon. But just through listening to what particularly humpback whales have to say, I feel they are very special as well.
That's really interesting. What are some of the messages that you get from the humpback whales or dolphins or anything like that? What are some of the messages they're trying to convey or speak to you?
That's a great question. I don't know if I ever really thought about that. I think when I'm playing, because what I like to do mostly is to play music with these sounds. That really is very exciting for me. And I think the conversational element of that makes it so so engaging. And for me, it's not necessarily about what they're trying to say, but more how they're saying it. And there's a wisdom in these calls. There's a depth of lineage, of history that I feel is coming through, and kind of reminds me to slow down and just connect with myself and with this present moment, and stay very much uh, in the now, you could say, and not let my mind think about, all the things that happened in the past or I need to do in the future, but just really stay in this present moment. And there's something for me, I think, about playing music with these species that really does that better than most other things.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. And you also
yeah.
been featured as well too with basically you've been featured in numerous fests as well, like Burning Man, International Year of Sound, and also the UN Climate Conference, and Agape Zil Fest as well too. And you also had a really riveting performance in Egypt as well.
We've been so blessed with so many invitations to share this project. And what's nice about it too is each one of those that you mentioned can be different lengths. At the UN Ocean Conference, we were invited to do a full performance of about an hour and really take people on the full journey. It was at the end of the week where people wanted to really relax and just kind of, remind themselves why they're there in the first place, and hosted a performance at the Lisbon Planetarium. It was the first live concert they ever hosted in the Lisbon Planetarium. We're
Wow.
very proud of that. Um, as compared to the performance we gave at COP27 in Egypt last year, this was about a 10-15 minute performance at the beginning of the day, and it was such an honor to be invited, on that stage, to stand next to some real important people in the climate um, conversation, and really contribute what we have to offer, which again really just helps people slow down and remind themselves more than anything why they're there in the first place. What is their contribution? And to create space for that as a part of a day of discussion, of presentations, of very inspiring speeches, I felt deeply honored to be able to share. So we're really excited about being able to expand the number of people in this world who have heard what it sounds like underwater.
Hmm, that is really fascinating. And where can we find all your works at?
The best place to go for that is our website, which is soundsoftheocean.com, and Instagram and LinkedIn and all the social channels by the same name. But yeah, the website's the best place to go.
All right, well, certainly check that out. And you also have the Embodied Sound podcast. And we'll talk more about that with Joshua Sam Miller. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios, and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson Zia Missing. We'll be back with recording artist, composer, environmentalist Joshua Sam Miller of Sounds of the Ocean after this time. We're back with Joshua Miller, the multi-talented, on the Mike Wagner Show with Sounds of the Ocean. We talked about Sounds of the Ocean and your fascination with the ocean, the project, and the music and everything. We got to check it out. It was great. You also had the Embodied Sounds podcast, and it seems that you like to take it to the next level. And tell us more about that.
Sure. Embodied Sounds has really become a multi-purpose vessel that I can create a lot of projects through. And the Embodied Sounds podcast, the Embodied Sounds podcast interviews experts in the field of music and sound as a way to improve our well-being. And I've interviewed some musicians, some scientists, and composers who have connected with that in some capacity. Some also working with ocean sound, others in completely different genres, kind of sharing a bit of an insight as to what their practice looks like, on a daily basis, how committing to music helped them in other parts of life, and inspiring people to see sound in a new way, I would say, or to hear sound in a new way. And it's part of the Embodied Sounds mission to help connect people with the natural world. So we're often using recordings that include some blend of nature sounds, and feature a growing number of artists and designers and activists in our network. So as both a podcast and a music label, we are excited about the work that we're putting out into the world that will support people's health and well-being and build that restorative connection to nature, which is, I think, so important to have.
And then how can we help with the cost?
The best way to help with that one is to listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, all the places you listen to podcasts. Leave a review. Embodiedsounds.com is also the website for that company. And send us a message on any of the social channels that you work with to maybe think about inviting us to perform at your event or host a retreat together. Really connecting with if you want to bring more mindful music into your organization, consider us available to help you do that.
We will certainly do that as well, too, in times of need. We're with the multi-talented Joshua Sam Miller of Sounds of the Ocean and the Embodied Sounds podcast here on the Mike Wagner Show. Joshua, just a few more minutes here. What else can we expect in 2023 and beyond?
Well, we just got accepted this year into our first feature film festival for Sounds of the Ocean. That's going to be next month in Germany, here in Jena, the home of the planetarium where it was at first built. And we are excited to keep growing that and travel to a few other festivals that are yet to be confirmed, but in process, that I'm excited to be a part of. And also work towards opening a mobile version of the experience that will be able to travel across the United States and bring this this show in a portable dome to people in different cities. So if you're interested in that, definitely send us a message online, maybe on Instagram, just saying, hey, come to my city. I really want to experience this. Then we'll put you on the circuit.
We will certainly do so as well. And we got people already getting requests on here right now. So that's the power of social media. So
amazing.
And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a real tough one. I'd say, it keeps coming back to me. James Cameron, I would say. James Cameron. Real inspiring creator and lover of the ocean.
That is fantastic. I got to say that. Very amazing. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
I would say don't give up and don't expect things to happen too fast.
That's a very good point indeed, and being mindful as well. We're here with the multi-talented Joshua Sam Miller here on the Mike Wagner Show with Sounds of the Ocean. Joshua, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. And once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your works?
The catch-all website for me is joshuasammiller.com. And the Sounds of the Ocean project is soundsoftheocean.com. Either one of those sites are a great place to connect and stay informed on what's coming next. And send me a message on Instagram, Facebook, or email, and I'll look forward to get back to you.
We will certainly do so. Once again, Joshua, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Learn a lot from you. Keep in touch. Keep us up to date. Love to have you back. Wish you all the best. And Joshua, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you, Mike. You too.